So I think I'm going to conclude with one more story. And this was a really fun project we did in what we call India. And it's, have you ever heard of this this woman, Kulab Larsa? So Kulab Larsa was a very incredible woman, and she's kind of best known for the fact that you've probably heard that there were these battles in the Chimericas, because there are like three of the regions of Chimericus there are called Chimerica because none of them want to give priority to the other ones. It gets really confusing. But in the end, there was this battle between those who believe in the gods and those who believe in the worlds. And so, but the people who believe in the worlds were always losing because the people who believe in the gods had the gods fighting for them. And she thought this is totally unfair. I mean, of course you're going to win if the gods are fighting for you. So she devised a plan to trick the gods into not helping their believers. So anyway, I'll get more to that in a second. But anyway, when she came to town, but they punished her by removing her gift of language. So she actually couldn't even think in words. Of course she couldn't speak, but she couldn't even use words to imagine her response to the world. So when she came to town, so we went to this little village and told the story to the kids. Again, they weren't familiar with it either. And so what we did is that we worked together. We thought it would be fun to make a mural of the story of Kulab Larsa, specifically the Ekomundi Kerwela of Kulab Larsa. And an Ekomundi Kerwela is, of course, a tower of wisdom. It's a bit like like a monastery, huge monastery. It's like building Mount Athos. But anyway, so when Kulab Larsa, this is how the kids represent Kulab Larsa. I will say it's a disputed likeness, but we got a lot of compliments in it, or at least the kids do. But it's so she came to town, and she was completely quiet, but she made quite an impression. And the reason she made an impression, and I maybe heard, is that she was riding on the back of a saber-toothed tiger. And this is an accessory I recommend for every woman. A saber-toothed tiger always makes an impression. And so she came to town, and but the kids kind of were intrigued by her, not just the kids, the whole community kind of gathered around. And so she started to, and then this one girl named Segaline, and you know where Segaline, she was named after the town, the Guam. By the way, Guam was a cognate word meaning footprint information. So Segaline is kind of where we think of Singapore as being, and Segaline is a place that is very, very hard to get to, but it's only about 200 kilometers from everywhere else. So if you can get there, you can really get out of there quick. Anyway, so Segaline had what's called a rock berry lizard. And are there any hunters here? Okay. So have you ever had problems with these lizards?
Yes.
They're really annoying, aren't they? Yeah. It's kind of, I'm not going to go too much into it because hunters get kind of mad about it, but I'll just say this, that they're incredibly empathetic. And they can actually read your mind, and so hunters hate them because they will be next to you while you're in the duck blind or whatever, and then as soon as they realize what you're doing, then they'll make as much noise as possible to scare the prey. You've had that happen, I'm sure. So the hunters are always sort of exterminating them to get rid of them, so they're really kind of endangered. So I want to get into the politics of it. I don't want to lay a whole trip on you there. But but they're really great pets. So Segaline had her favorite lizard, her little rock berry lizard on her shoulder. And so while Kulab Larsa was there, as she was on the back of the saber-toothed tiger, she just started looking up. It was like she was having a vision, which is exactly what she was doing. She was having a vision, and she was having a vision of this Ekomundi Kerwela, of this tower of wisdom. And you can kind of see it here. The kids eventually represented it in the concrete. And this tower was so tall it went up to the sky, through the bottom of the ocean, up into the clouds. It was really kind of amazing. And so when it was there, the lizard thought it was so real that it jumped off her shoulder and climbed up the tower, which of course everybody thought was very funny. And of course when they laughed, it kind of broke the spell, and the tower disappeared and the lizard fell to the ground. And so, and then when that happened, this bird came to try to, you can't see it now, but anyway, the bird came to try to eat the lizard, and of course the saber-toothed tiger ate the bird and saved the lizard, and so everybody thought this was great and really loved the saber-toothed tiger. So the point was that all of a sudden Kulab Larsa could speak, because the curse had been that she couldn't use language again until she could speak without words to one without words. And since she had been able to communicate the vision of the tower to the lizard, it meant the spell had been broken. And then she told the whole story of how she tricked the gods into not helping their believers, and she actually tricked them into cutting what we now call the Strait of Magellan, so all the believers in the world were on the other side. And great, it's like it's no time for the whole thing, but we'll get to it later. So she told this whole story, and by the time the story was done, it was dawn, of course, and the tower was built. So what we did in this village is we built, because most of it's gone now, this is a representation of the battle. What we built is the 5 corners of the tower, which is quite amazing. And this is kind of so we just got permission recently to install a plaque on the Strait of Magellan at the point where she kind of looked for the first time at her reflection and couldn't even conjure up language to articulate her sense of loneliness at that time, at the beginning of her journey.